first off. Android Studio is warming up. I have like my 10 projects open. I usually just like leave the computer running and let it kind of cook on its own and then come back once it's done loading this. Yeah, it's kind of not done. Still initializing. So I'm to the point where I'm porting the font renderer, and it's kind of like I feel like I have nothing done. Well, I have the other engines so we could port the movement, but I've strictly told myself I want to make the map editor. Like this is like something like I'm trying to be in federal mental about. And federal mental means mental illness of certain features I want. Just like this is what I wanted, and I just never get to it. It's crazy. It just seems like these other things keep setting me back, but not really. Yeah, it's parsing. We could run it on the PC version though. Notepad++ takes a little faster to boot up. Uh-oh. So yeah, at least it pre-cached the open files in Notepad++ a little better. I had to do a little bit of adding to the math library. We just saw it. What did we add? We added a matrix invert 4x4. I don't exactly know that the code that it's using this for. Basically, it's for putting the platforms into place when you get the matrix inverses after multiplying them or something. You can reverse the perspective of 4x4 matrix in order to place platforms or squares or 2D quad rectangles, or just get like the position dot of where the mouse is pointing to on the screen. Now we could have used maybe a line trace, or as people like to call it, raycast. So I do need to have a better explanation for the math for that, but I'm guessing that unprojecting is almost similar. I find that the math was like almost similar to what raycasting was, so this is a sort of a raycast, and this is sort of where we are at. The Raspberry Pi version is in Doomsday. The old Android got kind of updated. Metal, I'm really behind. I feel like working on Metal right now, but I got the hover button to work on both platforms, the same functionality. So when I click on this one, it sends me to this screen. Then I can come back to this screen and this screen. It used to move this thing. These buttons don't do anything. They're buttons, but they're the old buttons that don't have this hover effect like this button does. Only this button has this hover effect. So when I press this button, it takes me to this scene and I just stay here. This is where it's supposed to draw the text. So the text doesn't really have usage of the resource manager, while I might not need it for the initial, but I definitely need it because like on the PC it won't matter. But what I've learned, I don't think I did a stream about this. What I've learned is that Android uh, input events when you touch the screen are multi-threaded, meaning it's coming off a thread, so you can't directly call uh, up. Um, I wanted to say update, but it's an GL subbuffer. You can basically can't access the GPU directly. You have to make a dirty flag variable that's an atomic. You could make it so it's not an atomic, and it probably will still work, but that's not good C++ coding. So I made it an atomic. I asked the AI spit out bullshit to me and said, "Oh yeah, just make this dirty variable and you'll be fine." And it's like, no, I was like, no, you don't understand. This is another thread, so you must make this an atomic. And it's like, oh yeah, yeah. You gotta do that. It's like, so you can't like rely on the architecture. Like, I want to say, go read the game architecture book. Like, I've read like little parts of it, so like I'm guilty of not reading everything. And but I know, just from experience of other projects, that you must do certain things a certain way, or else you will pay the price of undefined behavior, and then you will be in real on behind behavior land, and you will never succeed because you will just have this thing that just has undefined behavior. I'm not talking about determinism, but I kind of am. Uh, we have some determinism, which we have to. So this, let's see, this is the updated Raspberry Pi version of the other engine. Let's see, webcam only. Alright, so this is how this looks like. This is the terminal. I press A as the keys, and it sends it through the terminal. So it doesn't have a release key. Oh, whoops, I pressed Q. So like it starts up. The background is dark, so you could like see the character disappearing. He doesn't really disappear. It's just that he's blending with the other color, and our eye just like my eye just completely stopped seeing him because I made him kind of glow, and he's got like the wrong cutout. So here he can do the spin dash thing, or like this dash. So when he's doing it, I modified the shader. This is using this like draw rectangle function, kind of similar to what WebGL likes to use. So I want to just like port a bunch of my examples to WebGL in this and just mess around with the Raspberry Pi, because the Raspberry Pi is like kind of fast to iterate compared to the cell phone. Well, the cell phone's fast too, actually, when you compile with Clang. I'm kind of lying about that. So he has the fart shader also that I made, implemented as a particle. The particle, the fart shader should be closer to him. It should be like on his body or a little bit on top. It's just like he's farting way too low to where he's located. Like you kind of like miss the fun and the effect when he's like jumping, because when he jumps, he farts. I wanted to make it a little different. I wanted to make it so he farts when you like hit like maybe dash or something. I could add that too, so he farts sideways. So this is another just demo. Okay, let me switch back here. Let's see. See if we could get this to run on phone. So Visual Studio, Android Studio, sorry. Same thing. Visual Studio or Android Studio. Alright, so we got this little error. I will fix this in a second. I already fixed it in my head yesterday and I just fell asleep. I was like, no. Like, I was supposed to like do this by goal, but it's kind of like I got to the. I was like, I know, I for sure know how to fix this error in principle, so I'm just shutting down the computer. Shut down slash s. Slash r slash t0. That's it. Yeah. So we're gonna set this text field to first text using this set text function, which str copies and it updates if it's been uploaded to GPU. And this doesn't save the elements data, and it doesn't save the offset, or it does save the offset, but a little differently than how the UI does it. So we may have to conform. So I'm going to click on the screen. Alright, so if we click this button, I should make the mouse work on Android too. Mouse and keyboard. It doesn't work. Oh no, keyboard does do something. Like keyboard is moving me, like it's detecting the E key when I'm sending E over. And I don't even have this enabled. But this phone allows for unsecure commands. The other phone doesn't. The other phone has all that screen overlay debug information of clicking on and it's like behaves differently in the shader. Alright, so the text didn't show up. Oh no, what do we do? Yeah, and so this you could kind of move like the other stuff. It's just that grid code running. This I have another grid code that's a little better than this. This gradient grid code is kind of cool and weird. It'd be nice to zoom into it just as you can see how it looks closer up. Alright, so let's really look at this code here. So it's calling these two classes in text scene. The texture loader class, which loads the font, your text font type. So it loads Noto Sans Regular, which I got off Google for English. I've got one for Hindi, and the other one is for Mandarin. No, I lied. No or yes? I think so. See, let's just see what's in the assets folder for a second. I believe it's for Mandarin. There's Japanese also. There is, what is SC? Forget what SC is, but it could be what I was talking about. It's probably Mandarin types. How do I have the Glyph program on here? I might, but who cares? It might say here H2. There is a way we can find out very fast. Just copy paste this into Google or Bing or whatever. Go to Bing, you type in Google. Chinese sans serif. Okay, yeah, it is Mandarin. But it's not Chinese, it's Mandarin. Damn it. What's the difference? Okay, so we're pushing to the VBO. What pushing to the VBO actually doesn't really push to VBO. It pushes onto the vertices and the indices. I spawn a new instance because we need to have cleaner slates of code so we can see what's actually happened. So we go into core, we go into graphics, we view our text render class. Oh yeah, this is where I kind of messed up. I have like this Kulo engine, and then over there I have core. Okay, here's a text loader class. It loads the font, uses free type. It loads the older free type library on Android for PC because it's actually reading the memory in the memory, and that's the other part. I don't know. What's it doing with the texture? I have no fucking clue actually. I know what to do myself. You like load it into the texture thing, but I don't think it never loads image atlas buffer into the geobind texture or merges it or anything. Before I used to have this like merge class, and it would just merge it into the main texture as an alpha. Because you can see here, channel 3 is really where it's sending it to. I mean, channel 4, well, 3 as in the index, but 4 as in the actual. So UI text field does this drawing of quads for each character. Some engines will actually rasterize it to the point where it's like one text is a bitmap. So the VV type is the type of the quad, which will be a text. And we're going to have different types of text, different types of responsive, relative, but that comes later. First, we just want like a default 1000. I have to check the shader too. So let's recompile this. Why wasn't PC getting error? Oh, because we need to recompile it. Let's just see what this PC will display. PC should display maybe something because the screen is bigger. And we can just resize and just like debug it that way. And that's the other part about PC, and it's like later it needs like settings. It needs like, oh, I want to run with this resolution. The same thing could be true for Android. You could have different configs for the different amount of colors and resolution. Like that would be cool to run like 2 times lower resolution and get twice the performance. Most people don't really care. Like especially if it's 3D and you get more frames per second. Like I remember playing Quake, and the main thing was their PC was a piece of shit, even though it was good for the time. But the problem was the hardware. Like the hardware just sucked. Now the hardware is very good, but they have these engines called Unreal, and these just bloated ass engines. Like what's what's Ice running? I mean, Battlefield. Like these just like Doom, yeah, just like these fucking ray tracing engines with these like streaming in data, and they're fucking doing all these like florilege and fucking crap that you don't care about. Like you care about it for a second, like, oh, the graphics are good. I don't care, just turn that shit off. All right, we don't see the text. Even though we should see it because the PC is the PC, but what we should have really done is just like entered the scene and exited like right away. Yeah, because I can't. I'm not gonna scroll through all that. No, that is just stupid. I'm just gonna hit this and hit escape right away. See what it did. So UI text field had these variables. I had the printfs already like written. I just replaced the old printfs. Uploaded GPU texture cache texture map ID 3. Context loss detected. Restreaming rebuffer from RAM. I don't know why the fuck this happened on the PC, but it did. I have to kind of figure out what that means later, but who cares? It didn't seem to hurt anything. Alright, so text to UI field push to VBO, if this. So it looks like it executed because these weren't null. There were different values, which is why is G vertices and G vertices the same? Because the printf is fucking not right. That doesn't hurt anything, but it just hurts the programmer looking at it and like, oh, why is this the same as this? Oh, because I copy paste wrong. Okay. Then printf the vertices. Okay, if this is good because it wouldn't have printed this if this wasn't. Then we get the size. Then we get the string length, and then for every character we generate a quad, store it in a little thing, and push it back into the vertices. So this generates like one rectangle, and this adds the indices properly. It's the same code I had before, but basically refactored, remerged into this style of code. I can't say it's all the way because it doesn't have that thinger where if the context is lost, how do I do it? How do I push it back onto the GPU memory? So the GPU will wipe everything out on Android. This is not true actually on iPhone. On iPhone, this is what's going on. Like nothing. It's just like I was trying to kind of. Why do I have to enter the password if it's like logged in over there? Yeah, I was trying to like write this stuff, then download it. I don't know. I need a better way to like transfer files. Uh, I believe I asked the AI on how to do this better. Okay, this is basic texturing Mac OS. So that's what I was trying to do. I was just trying to draw a quad. And it's like the Apple style. It's kind of like I have to be programming mainly on the Apple, and I have it as a side computer, and it kind of just sits there as a furniture. And I have to kind of learn what a float 4 and a float 3 is all over again every time that it's like larger and the bit alignment and like all this SIMD bullshit that like for some reason I take for granted what a half 4 is. But I'm slowly but surely I'm just grinding into it. Like this is a separate thing. Treat it as its own renderer. Because I watched the video about Anton and this other guy made a new engine, and they said, "Oh yeah, well OpenGL 4 something works for Apple." And I was like, "Well, that's cool." But it's only Mac OS. It's not iOS. So that basically means that like I'm fucked because I would have to make it OpenGLES and compile it for 64-bit according to the AI, and that's also kind of stupid. Actually, that is kind of good. Like maybe I should just have it on the older system, but that's kind of stupid. I might as well learn Metal because I already started. I don't think Metal is as hard as Vulkan, but from what I've heard, Molten VK is just stupid. Like there's no reason to do that because it's just like a dead end since there's like different behavior. So you might as well just write a Metal renderer and an OpenGLES renderer, but not a Molten VK renderer. Like that would just be like something very extra. Like choose your renderer. Because if your Apple device is older or 32-bit, then you want OpenGLES. If your Apple device is newer, iPhone 5 and up or something, you want Metal. And if your Apple computer is like Mavericks level, you want OpenGL. And if it's higher than like 12 or something, some note, I don't even know all the Apple fucking versions. You want Metal. So yeah, fucking just for one operating system, like this dumb problem. And this just like laggy Visual Studio called Xcode. It's not really laggy. It's just this machine is being VPN'd through VNC, and I mean there's no GPU in it. It's iGPU. So why doesn't this basic texturing work? I really don't need this project. I just need it for the code. But what the hell? I think it's just some stupid ass setting. Yeah, it is. It's just like the error is this, and it doesn't tell me what to do, but I kind of know. Just like change this. Deployment target Mac OS. Okay, let's go look what our Mac OS is. And it doesn't let me update it unless I do Open Core Legacy Patcher or something stupid. Okay, 12.7.6. We just can't set it higher than this. Yeah, and it's like graphics is Intel Iris. I mean, it's a decent little computer. I don't know how an i7 can be a dual core, but it's a quad core with the thread. 10.12? Wait, wasn't this 12 point something? Yeah. And what the crap? Why are you mad? Like, what's wrong with this? Like, why doesn't it tell me what to build? Okay, basic testing requires selecting either development team or yeah, that's fucking stupid. So I have to do some fucking social networking with my Apple developer account. I had one though. This garbage. Oh, I hate this. Sorry. It's like, yeah, here we go. Yay. Now it shall work. It does. Okay, good. Let that cook. It should take a second. It's slow, but it's not very slow. So yeah, you have to like do the basics. And the problem is the project is getting way too ahead of how good I am at metal, and I need to like sort of. Yeah, so it textures it right. This is the basic concept. And so I connected my phone, right? I can run it in the emulator. The emulators work. I got the emulators working. Let's do basic texturing iOS, NEOS. So I have it connected. iPhone is not paired with your computer. Okay, I don't care. Let's just try to run it. Destination iPhone is not available for running scheme. Basic iOS is not paired with your computer. To use this with your unlocked and choose trust this computer when prompted. Okay. Yeah, like this works like easier on Linux Mint for like sharing internet with the computer. All right, trust. I put trust on the device. Then it popped up the pin, and then the cable. This phone has like, because this is an iPhone 10, so it's a good test. Because my other one's 14, and the reason it's a good test, it's like in the middle. It's like the cheapo you would expect people to use to play games. Like when their main phone dies and they don't want to touch their main phone because they're like, I hate that thing. The thing just like reeks of business and stupid ass shit I don't want to do. Okay, basic compile, errors found, invalidating cache. Okay, let's build cannot target under this target. Okay, so what it told me, what the AI told me, is the reason I couldn't run the old from the book OpenGLES development or something. I have an example where it loads up an MD5 file. It told me that it was compiled as a 32-bit binary, so we have to change it from 32-bit ARM v6 to ARM v8 or whatever, or ARM 64, whatever. There should be just like one thing I have to change and that'll work. But I have my doubts because okay, the deployment, the iOS it's on is 18. It's sitting on 18. But before I thought it was because of the update, it fucked everything up. And this could be true. Oh, okay. So right here, targets. I hit targets. Okay, 13 is good because mine is 18. But we need to change the architecture or the CPU memory type. It is standard architecture 64-bit. Now what the fuck do I do? Now I can't act smart. Fuck. The basic texturing errors found. Validating cache. Okay. Running basic. It says running. Let me see. Is it running? No. I don't see a new fucking thing. How can I just view the phone screen on here? Okay. Screenshot this. We're gonna ask why this is it. I already have a prompt open for this for this ticket of IT support. iPhone, Excel, iOS, Xcode, error 1. I believe we're not going to get this to work on my iPhone today. And we'll just move on to text, but yeah. That's why I need to build the Hackintosh with the updated system. It'll be faster and just, I could dedicate, I could have another dedicated machine for coding. And I'll be just coding on Mac OS. It'll be fucking amazing. And I'll code like crime wars on there. On my Super RX 6600. Alright, so in Gemini, I started drilling at the gym. Actually, this was after the gym, the parking lot or something. Oh no, it was on the other account. Well, should I use Pro or regular? Why does Pro says upgrade? That's stupid. Okay, let's just give it the file. Help fix Xcode error. And I don't like to find the file. I just like doing this. Hit copy, put it in the buffer, and just Control V because it's faster. It's this multimodal AI blah blah because it has the model to just view the screenshot and just parse it. So why waste your time? To run the code, to run your code, you need to point Xcode to a specific simulator or plugged into physical device. Dismiss the error by clicking OK. Well, shit's not gonna work. You just told me some garbage. I mean hallucination, sorry. Same thing. Okay. So let's tell it this. It should have seen the background. It's just nice to save this and then post it later on TikTok for no reason. I told it this is my build settings 1 because I kind of want to infer and imply that I'm a dumbass or something. No, because yeah, I wanted to give it a version number. Sometimes Xcode gets wires crossed with old build files. You successfully change this and still won't run because specific console error. You just need to clear Xcode's cache. To do this, press Control Shift Command plus K. Clean build folder. Hitting play again. Invalidating cache. There's no such directory. Yeah, so like there is no cache. So what the hell are you talking about? Right, right below product, comma debug source control menus. Directly click on the words any iOS device. Under product debug source control. I hate this. This is like garbage coding. It's just like stupid settings and like list boxes. There is a way to search and filter, but that's not the way to do it because like you want to have absolute authority, control. Is it deployment target? No, it's not headers. I believe it's up here somewhere. Like, why is there like 50 million things for privacy? Oh, because they're spying on us. Cool. That's why you take selfies of like your poop and send it to your friends. Alright, product name. Product wasn't product name. Right below product, debug and source control. I need to find one of these. I'm having trouble just to find one. I'm like a really bad Mac OS programmer or something, or whatever you call it. What do you call Mac programmers? I don't know. Fucking applesauce. Metal compiler with build options. Enable fast math, yes. I don't care about that crap. I don't care. Storyboard compiler. What the hell is that crap for? Documentation compiler. Oh, it's just like. At least I don't have to think. All I have to do is just like eyeball it. That's even worse. Seems like easier to think at this point than eyeballing like super long list like this. Text-based API. Enable text-based. It's like one of these things can send you down a rabbit hole. Okay, signing. Signing seems okay. Actually, I have to like care. Okay, product name. We found product name. No, we need product debug and source control menus. What? I'm just gonna do what I think it is. I think it's that. I think I just need to get really frustrated and just start typing a lot into the AI prompt, or just actually go to a website and figure that out. IS deployment target iOS 12. Alright. Targeted device families. Fuck. Really, what I thought it would be is this. Yeah, there's only standard architectures. Any supported platforms? Any platform? What the hell? Control R again. Oh, that's what it meant. That's so stupid. Okay. Can I locate device support files? Oh, it says it's running somewhere. Where the hell is it running? I do have the emulators installed. hell did I call the other one? iOS. Oh, so stupid. Okay. Alright, let's try to fix the text while I just, like, fight this. What does this mean? It's just really dumb. It actually helps. 'Cause then, like, it tries to help you with, like, stuff you don't know. That it doesn't know that you don't know. Yeah, it's like this, shadowing door problem we always have with AI. We're like, oh, why does it tell me the answer? Because it doesn't know, you don't know. And it doesn't know what you don't know that it doesn't know also. Double shadow. Yeah, we don't even know what double shadow means. For the most part, it's just like a undefined term. There is some stupid term, some like, never mind. Mm. It goes into another deep conversation. Not about. Dun, 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 dun. So play. Okay. What will this? This basically means we're fucked. This iPhone, this Xcode, yeah, it tells you right here. Xcode is outdated. We don't care, and you get to die. This is what this says. Could not locate device support files. You may be able to resolve the issue by installing the latest version of Xcode from Xstore. Missing string. Blah 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 blah. Crazy ass hex value. Okay. Let's see if Gemini can help us. It can't. We know that. Check your iPhone's version. Go to general. I did. I sent you that. Oh, I didn't send it here. I sent it in a different prompt. But it knows. It even knows like your secret Google accounts. They're all linked together, and it like links them for you. Option one, the official fix recommended. Go to your iPhone's versions. Say about. Open the Apple Store. Update to the latest code. Update older Mac operating system. You might still need to update Mac OS just before App Store. Download latest Xcode. Workaround advanced. Navigate to the exact path. Contents, developer, platforms, iOS, iPhone device support. Paste the folder downloaded into the device support directory. Restart Xcode. You could inject device support files from GitHub. Oh, great. I want to do this right now. I'm going to go hack the only computer I have in order to use a hack. Well, it's kind of like, it's not going to hurt it really because all you're doing is like copying in more files. Added iOS 16. Did they add? I believe we're trying to do a 12 dot something. We just download this shit and just put it in our folder. That's all we have to do. Yeah, it seems like it. This isn't too bad. Sudo. See what the gist says. Oh, good. It's in Chinese. I could read this. No, I can't, but still get the idea. Weird face, unhappy face, face crying. Locate device support files. Okay. We could just auto-translate this. Alright, why is our text not working? Well, we figure out the logistics for that. Who cares? It'll work. Like, I could run it in the emulator and start coding it. Just takes a while. Okay, the G vertices. Alright, the best way to do this is just to write a super long ass printf statement and just be like, cool. Actually, want to start with a smaller printf statement, but no, it's just. Let's see, G vertices pushback. X, F, X position, Y position, and UEX. We're not gonna like sit here and write this printf forever. We just needed to like know like basic bullshit about like, is this being sent to vertices? Now we need to know what is the vertice count. Alright, if this, it inserts the vertices and indices. It returns, before it returns, give us G vertices dot size as a decimal or integer or something. Size. Let's copy paste this. Erase this. Copy paste this. So we know size of indices and vertices. We'll just skip writing size. Assume that same thing as before. Alright, so this, yeah, just recompile this. This is the first thing we need to know. We need to know if, like, this worked. Will it really? We should stick this printf up here too, so we can see the difference. Just stick it before the for loop. Let's let it compile first. Alright, here's the English translation of the blog post. I believe, bring your faith, go find kingdom that belongs to you, even if it takes a lifetime. Does not sound like a good idea. Every time iOS update is pushed, we find update phone can no longer be used for real device debugging. Apple always been like this. As iOS versions update, Xcode also release a new version. The new version of Xcode contains the dedicated support files. New iOS version, therefore updating the latest version of Xcode can solve the problem. However, anyone who's updated Xcode knows the agony and the best an hour or two. The worst, you might stay up all night to finish updating, but there is a simpler, faster way to solve this problem, which can share below. Error message. Cannot locate device photo. Cannot find device disk image. Open Finder. Open the application. Show packet contents. Contents developer slash platform slash iPhone platforms device. Blah blah blah. Folder. The directory above contains our version. Debugging figure below. Then copy the latest device support files through the other channels into this directory. You can use in the latest real device debugging. Isn't that convenient? It saves a lot of trouble updating Xcode. What? You can't find the new device? Well, we can copy them from a friend's latest Xcode or download my shared files. Okay. Wow. Random thoughts. Standing on a high building every day, looking at little ants on the ground. Their heads are very big. Their legs are very thin. They hold Apple phones. They wear Nike and Adidas. They are going to be late for work. They are very anxious. Okay, this is just some gibberish. After updating, there will be an extra 2 gigs of space. So exciting. The tragic part came later. Before updating, I cleared and knew I wouldn't be able to do real device debugging, although check support files still unless it's updated. I adopted it too fast and none of my friends had updated yet site, so I had to update it myself first. Something about for reprints, please indicate the source. Alright, so let's give credits to, and we are on Alipay and WeChat. Okay, whatever. Scan to share on. So that's Mac development for you. Just do some weird shit and make it work. Alright, so it didn't. We kind of messed up right there. We need to hit escape fast. Oops, that's too fast. Press this button and simultaneously hit escape. Alright, so there's a shader for that. Alright, so this, oh yeah, so this is the characters. It is not giving them the right position. Their scale is outrageous. The values of the UV coordinates is insane. I don't know what deca quattro billion ish thing that is. At least this one is 0, so there's some sane values in here. The position values are below. There is a 0.5, 0.25, so that looks like accurate-ish, but there's something wrong here. Either the scale was never defined and I fucked up something. Alright, the scale is defined. No, wait, it isn't. No, it is. The scale is set to 0005. It's a good scale. It's the default scale. So here's the scale. X bearing X. So is bearing float X scale 1. I kind of don't like that it's setting scale here to a different value than it sets it in the constructor. Okay, let's see what bearing is set to by default. The fuck? What is bearing? Bearing is a I wanted to say free type value, but it's undefined. I could just kind of tell. You know why it's undefined? Because the font thing I loaded, I did a little modification on it like a dumbass. And here's the problem. Number of characters is set to like something stupid ass-ish, 128, and it's pulling out garbage. Like, why is this continue here? But what's the difference between this and not this? We have to look at a different like version of this, like an older version, and just see. We have to do diff. I don't know what folder it is, but I'll find it here really fast. Damn it, I'm hungry. This means like I have to eat chips, and the audio is just gonna sound like a bunch of crunching sounds of a person eating. Which, like, I don't really care about the end result of that. Hunger is winning. Is this the right one? It is. Oh, it's in graphics. Like, what the fuck? Oh, no. We lost the folder. Fucking. Oh, it is here. Okay. It's the text renderer class. Yeah, compare these two. What the fuck changed? So this is same. This is same. I don't know why memset is here, but whatever. It's fine. We got good words. FT, type initialize FT. So why the crap is this not initializing free type? Does this initialize free type later? Okay, yeah, it does. Okay, that's fine. The problem is there are two different loader functions for free type. And I believe this one has different face size. No, it has same face size. It should be the same thing, it's just I modified it by hand. Why is the width? Okay, width and height is being set to width and rows. Okay, that is correct. This one is unsigned int. Wow, this one is just int. WT, what, um, STF, ASAD, ESAP. Hell is this crap? The source, like, why is Atlas index and source index reversed? Doesn't really matter, but here he's casting char. I don't know why he needs to do that. Are we casting height and width even though they're cache parameters tracked? Okay, I believe the fix is the unsigned crap. Let's try the unsigned fix and then okay, load font render continue. Okay, this continue crap is the same. Width height int width height. Why does this happen again? This has num index. The other one just increments within the for loop. Oh, I++. But how come that one doesn't have, this one does C++? The for loop is structured differently a little bit. It's the values that are being injected. Damn it, this is really hard to compare because of how structurally different it looks. Why did I do this? Crap. Oh, it's because there's two font load functions. Okay. Now I understand that problem. If you like reading the file without the compare on, it's just driving the, can't see the structure. Okay, load file asset manager. What about without asset manager? F you stupid file. Okay. Damn it, I can't believe this doesn't work yet. Okay, right here it starts. Initialize the library. Dun, 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 dun. Because if the texture is not there, it should be able to still draw this. Alright, let's just go back. Alright, let's see why this. I need to search for bearing x, because if it's multiplying by a value that's not defined, that's precisely what the problem is. It's just like -1, and that's like infinity type of BS, and that causes all kinds of unexpected values, like exploding numbers. Alright, so this is where it's being used, and this is where it is being set. It's a free type value. Should be defined here. Yeah, it's defined in the struct for each character. That's where it's being multiplied. Its bearing is like thing. It's like kind of like its distance between the other character. Kind of. Should. We're not gonna go into like the whole thing, but where's the damn? I mean, where's the nice tutorial that shows us how to do this? What is this? I haven't seen this one, I think. Alright, blah blah. Yeah, the bearing. Advanced. Bearing G. Sort of like the space it's taking. Offset from baseline. Vertical bearing. Let's see it where it is being set. Okay, then if you can't find it like this, search star dot star, I don't care. Found more stuff. Should be inside text render C++. Not this file, not here. Well, we know it's going to be in here, but root bitmap left. Oh, I love the hide and go seek game. This is what we're doing. Damn it. I don't think it is the bearing. Maybe it's the scale. So it allocs this class, the number of characters, stores it, and the bearing is the UV or the advance, right? This is another version of this. Start X, start Y. So whatever we put into here, right? The width, the start, and the top. We never put the bearing, but what did we put in UV coordinates? We put start X in the width, start Y, okay. So we never mess with the bearing. So then we move, let's just open this in a new window. We know this works because I can run this and just show that it works. What was the latest build of this? Oh, I don't know. Maybe rebuild? So there's like 2 rebuilds. It's like, damn it. See how we see the font just like loading in the background. It prints out so much crap that, oh no, the shader program's broken on this. But let's see, like, what the hell? 7/08/2005, 18. No, this is '07. This is '07/18. All right, we see that this is like this. This is not the right thing, but this is some other cool thing where like we're rotating triangles. We have merged code here. I mean merged prototype code. Okay, it's this one. So we see that the font works. No, we don't. Why we don't? Because we don't see anything written on the screen like FPS. I have a custom mouse cursor, but this is like, this works on PC. It like doesn't have context loss prevention on Android. It does work on Android, but it doesn't have. Damn it. Where's the text? There's no text. What we need to do is just go back to the other one. Oh, it started listening. I mean, it tried to be multiplayer. Alright, sorry there was no voice. I was eating chips and stuff. Yeah, so I didn't instantiate this right. The text, there it is, was not being correctly in order pushed to the indices and vertices vector arrays. Should have been done earlier, or it could have been done later, but I didn't update the main count that's being done here. When it draws everything as triangles, as elements, we do GL draw elements, and then with the grid index count was not being updated. I could have just updated it in that one place that I commented out. Like I could have done it like this. It just depends. Like if you want to spawn the text later, maybe you'd want it to do it this way, like here later. That's why I was like kind of in start graphics. We'll see that with more of that later when text starts spawning, but you don't want it spawned initially. It's kind of better to pre-spawn all the text fields you know you're going to use. Um, why is it not showing up even though it's like dark? It's because there's no texture yet. There is a texture, it is loaded, it is generated, but it's not being merged into the main texture. And it's not being sent to the GPU. I mean, it is being sent, there is a texture being sent to GPU. But I think that's better for tomorrow. But we have the bearing thing working. Why we couldn't find bearing with the equal sign? I've had this problem before. I had the same exact error, and it's this declarative. This is like why you don't see bearing. It's actually this value and this value. And I will need to get rid of this printf or comment it out with diffdefs. But yeah, the problem was just I wasn't opening the right file name. I don't know if anybody caught on to that visually. When I open the file in Windows version, or even Linux, it's a subdirectory called assets. So it has to be done like this, while in Android it's done like this, because of how the Android project is structured. So when the game ships, I guess the binary will be in a bin folder or something. I don't know. And then it'll just call assets like that. I don't know. I didn't think about that yet. Yeah, so. But for now, it has to be like this because if I don't want to have two asset folders, that's just stupid. And that's how all the files are being anyway, so it'll just have to follow that. That's kind of good in another way because you like are forced into a um, folder where you have to put files. Generally, the texture is just going to have to go through the resource container system. I mean, resource allocator and cache. Resource manager, whatever we call it. It already works for the map edit scene. I don't know if it has like the Raspberry Pi version, I think it also has the hot shader reloader. So the map edit scene, the one we kind of spawn into in the beginning, not the four quads. The texture map is here. So we get this texture handle, which is actually just the ID. The res, the resource, the Google Resource Manager. They tell you on Google to make one of these. So you make one. It loads binary files and string files. of course, and texture files have to be decompressed or decoded if they're PGN. So you use like STB image for something like that. I mean, you could use PGN lib also, and if it was some other format like SVG, you don't need to. It's a string file, or if it's some format like GLB, it's just a binary, and then your thing will parse it. I don't know. It depends what the format is. So you have to like look it up. So if it's a sound format, you're gonna need like a library to, if it's OGG or MP3, to load it as binary and then do something with it. Kind of like textures. You load it as a binary, then you decode it into another type of a raw binary, and then you load it into GPU, but you store it as the raw binary within the resource manager. So when you have to re-upload it, it's just a straight one-shot function call. Can you store it compressed? Just cache it as compressed. You could, but then you have to decompress it every time you store it, which kind of makes sense from a RAM perspective. But then since there's just that, well, yeah, there could be a little bit different ways of managing the resource manager. But generally, yeah, that little optimization won't get you that far unless you're really desperate. Okay, so it's still going to be this texture, and it's going to have to take this texture and merge it. Like, we might as well do it here, and then take the texture we have, because I believe the resource manager. Let's go look at the resource manager for today, and then I'll clock out of this one, because it senses down the resource manager explanation. So we got the get instance, which gets its singleton context. So it's like a singleton thing. Here's the static that allows that to happen. Here's the pointer to it. Or it's not a pointer, it's an object actually. So it's always declared. Load texture, predefinition. Let's go look at load texture. There's also a load binary, I believe, that I don't even use yet. Or there should be. No, there's load from web. Here's the load binary. It's an on-site chart vector, but it's actually binary. So that way, we have the asset manager for the Android side. So resource manager and asset manager are a little bit different things. Resource manager is how on Android, your assets get stored in RAM. Asset manager is just a file opener on Android. On PC, resource manager is redundant. But not really. Here's why. Because if your resolution changes, then it is possible to get OpenGL context lost on PC. It just almost never happens. Like, it's a long time ago, not too long ago, but does OpenGL 3.3 or 4.1 plus context loss happen in Windows or Linux when, for example, changing the resolution? The short answer is no. Windows and Linux will not cause OpenGL context loss. However, a massive historical and architectural but depends on how you manage your Windows and how you're on. Windows with OpenGL Directory infrastructure infamous device loss state is a very ancient OpenGL on Windows XP. So it can happen if you recompile this for Windows XP. Because we're running like the older shaders, we can port this back to Windows XP. Linux 11 I mean X11 and Wayland windowing platforms. Yeah, so there is reasons it can happen. TDR. So let's say you plug in a different monitor. Even though I don't think that's what physical hardware event means. It means I'm plugging a GPU, eGPU, like one of those accelerator cards, or extension things like a laptop. GPU via multiplexer switch. That's like you have multiple GPUs and you switch them somehow. I want to look that up. What that means. Whatever. System power loss. You go to sleep mode, you come back, and then it just out, which is kind of bad. Like this is why sleep mode is just so dangerous for a lot of systems for it to work right, because it has to tear things down and bring them back up correctly. Not all the software can do it. GLFW context robustness. So you could just enable this extension. You don't have to do shit on Windows or Linux. I wonder, what about Mac OS? OpenGL for whatever ish it support it kinda. You hit the nail on the head, kinda. macOS has a notorious relationship with OpenGL. You're dealing with macOS and 4 whatever. You're specifically looking for OpenGL 4.1. This is the highest version Apple ever supported before they locked the door. Cool. Threw away the key and completely stopped updating it. Yes. Die. Context loss behaves differently on Windows or Linux, and resolution changes come with a huge caveat. Does it lose context when changing resolution? Technically, no, but it will corrupt your rendering if you don't manually patch it up. So you might as well just destroy the context and just restart everything behind your back. Apple's legacy OpenGL layer requires the app to manually acknowledge everything to the display system. I wonder what that means. Working with rendering context. So this means like basically everything that you made into textures on the GPU sent gets destroyed, and all the vertex little points get destroyed. And this is their like confusing bullshit that they're trying to portray here. And I haven't been to this page. This is a good page to have. I'm gonna save this page. Okay. The Mac fix to prevent soft context loss. You have to call Apple's platform-specific update function right after the resolution of the Windows changes. No, I don't. I could just regenerate the context on its own, like in C Objective. It's not in C++. Fix the size of the front buffer. Ooh. Wow, this is so exciting. This is so horrible. Can't believe this. People had to do this. You cannot use OpenGL 3.1. No forward progress. Apple deprecated OpenGL back in 2018. Mac OS 10.14 Mojave and frozen version at OpenGL 4.1 core profile. The real macOS 4.1 reality check. Since we are working with OpenGL on Mac, there are three massive constraints you always have to keep in mind. No forward progress, the core profile trap, automatic renderer switching, real context drift. MacBook Pros with both integrated Intel and AMD GPUs and discrete GPU feature automatic graphics switching. On macOS, your OpenGL context can actually switch physical GPUs on the fly while the game is running, if the OS decides it needs more power or wants to save battery. Cool. That's awesome. I want to do that. So what happens if you pull out your battery and you unplug your computer? Does that mean Complete context loss? I mean, obviously, it should just die, whatever. But yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting point. Whatever. Basically, it says like you don't have to worry about it, but this is why you have this fucking resource manager thing. Handle context loss recovery. So it'll re-upload to the GPU the image, but this resource manager only does textures. It does not handle your vertex arrays. The vertex arrays are handled by that scene system, and there's also another element system that's trying to handle state of all the elements and stuff. And yeah, it just gets gnarly-ish, like bloated with this, trying to save everything. And some of it is not really it's like writing your own Unity and Unreal and Godot engine just to, but you have a really good sense of what's wrong. Alright, so what we'll have to do is we'll have to, with the loaded texture that's currently loaded, get the bytes, the RAM image cache, modify this RAM image cache, the raw file bytes, basically decode image data. So it decoded this using the acid texture loader. So this is another thing, using the acid texture loader, which is an image decoder, and decoded image decompressed. So what does decode image data do? Let's find this. Yeah, obviously I kind of like AI, like really fast coded this, but I knew what it was doing because I wrote like a whole thing. Yeah, it does STB image load from memory. It just does a real quick, dirty way of doing it. And then I just double checked and just kind of said, yeah, because you could see me like remodifying this file here and flipping it. So I knew I had to do that. And so yeah, there's 4 channels, uh, and so it assigns it using a vector char, I believe. It's the type, that image data, and it has to use this assign thing, image.pixel data that assign, just ugly. It's not C style, but it's C++. But whatever. At this point, I was like, as long as it's C++ 11 under, I don't care. Because there's just so many of these things to do. Just to initially get this, like the other engine did not have this. It had like this flip thing to fix things. It had STB load, but it was not from memory. It was from file. It's a little different. But it has image merge, so